Sie erhalten noch heute 1.000 € auf Ihr Bankkonto, wenn Sie diese Gelegenheit vor Ende des heutigen Tages nutzen. Aufgrund der hohen Nachfrage ist das Programm derzeit nur einer begrenzten Anzahl von Personen zugänglich und die Registrierung wird in Kürze geschlossen. Die Zahl der Menschen, die mehr als 25.000 € monatlich verdienen möchten, ist enorm. Deshalb führen wir mithilfe spezieller Algorithmen eine strenge Auswahl durch und Sie gehören zu den ausgewählten 1% der Teilnehmer. Wichtig ist, wird Ihr Konto nicht rechtzeitig aktiviert, wird der Zugang automatisch an den nächsten Teilnehmer weitergegeben. Es handelt sich um ein Finanzprojekt, das automatisch Transaktionen mit Aktien und Währungen verarbeitet und Ihnen dadurch ein stabiles passives Einkommen ermöglicht. Früher waren solche Technologien nur großen Investoren zugänglich, doch inzwischen erweitern wir Tag für Tag die Möglichkeiten, damit immer mehr Bürger Deutschlands teilnehmen können. Wir sind von der Effektivität dieses Programms überzeugt und garantieren jedem Teilnehmer eine Kompensationszahlung in Höhe von 6.000 €, falls die Ergebnisse nicht den Erwartungen entsprechen. Gehen Sie auf die Seite, informieren Sie sich über alle Details und treffen Sie eine wohlüberlegte Entscheidung. Denken Sie daran, dass sich eine solche Chance nur einmal ergibt.
Most bad habits are not caused by laziness. They are caused by brain wiring. The neuroscience of habits shows that your brain is constantly trying to save energy by turning repeated actions into automatic behavior. That is why you keep checking your phone without thinking, procrastinate even when deadlines are near, overeat when stressed, or repeat behaviors you already know are harming your life. In this video, we are going to break down how habit formation actually works inside the brain, why bad habits feel so difficult to break, and most importantly, 5 practical steps to rewire your brain and unlearn bad habits permanently using neuroscience-backed methods that are simple and realistic. Why your brain keeps repeating bad habits. One of the biggest mistakes people make is thinking bad habits are simply about lack of discipline. But neuroscience explains it differently. Your brain is designed to automate repeated actions. Every time you repeat a behavior, your brain strengthens the neural pathway connected to that action. This process is called neuroplasticity. The more you repeat something, the stronger and faster that pathway becomes. At first, habits require conscious effort. But after enough repetition, the brain shifts control to a deeper region called the basal ganglia. That is when behaviors become automatic. This is why habits feel effortless after a while. The problem is that your brain does not strongly distinguish between good habits and destructive habits. It mainly focuses on efficiency and reward. If checking social media gives quick dopamine, the brain remembers it. If procrastination temporarily reduces stress, the brain stores it. If junk food gives emotional comfort, the brain reinforces it. Over time, the brain begins associating certain emotions, places, times, or triggers with these rewards. That is why bad habits often happen automatically. You are not making a fully conscious decision every single time. Your brain is running a learned pattern, and this is important to understand because you cannot break bad habits simply by relying on motivation. Motivation is temporary, brain wiring is consistent. To change habits permanently, you must change the system that created them. Step 1. Identify the trigger behind the habit. Most people focus only on stopping the habit itself, but neuroscience says the trigger matters more. Every habit follows a loop. Trigger, behavior, reward. The trigger is what starts the automatic pattern. For example, stress triggers phone scrolling. Boredom triggers overeating. Loneliness triggers social media addiction. Mental fatigue triggers procrastination. Many people think they have a discipline problem when they actually have an unmanaged trigger problem. The brain loves patterns. Once a trigger repeatedly leads to a reward, the brain starts predicting the reward before the behavior even happens. That anticipation itself releases dopamine. This is why cravings feel so strong. So instead of asking, how do I stop this habit? Start asking, what keeps activating this habit? For 1 week, observe your bad habits without judging yourself. Notice what time it happens, what emotion you feel before it, where you are, who you are with, what thought entered your mind. You will usually discover patterns very quickly. A lot of people are not addicted to the behavior itself. They are addicted to emotional relief. That awareness alone weakens automatic behavior because now the prefrontal cortex, the decision-making part of the brain, becomes active again. You are no longer fully unconscious inside the pattern. Step 2. Make the habit harder to perform. This step sounds simple, but it is deeply connected to neuroscience. Your brain constantly tries to conserve energy. If a behavior is easy and instantly rewarding, the brain prefers it. That is why environment matters so much. People often think self-control is entirely internal, but behavior science shows that environment shapes behavior more than motivation does. If junk food is visible, you eat more. If your phone is beside you, you check it more. If distractions are available, your brain chooses them more often. The brain naturally follows the path of least resistance. So instead of fighting temptation every day, reduce exposure to it. Delete apps that waste your time. Log out after each use. Keep your phone away while working. Do not keep addictive food near you. Create physical distance from distractions. This works because habits depend heavily on cue exposure. No cue, less craving. Less craving, less automatic behavior. People underestimate how powerful friction is. Even adding 10 seconds of inconvenience can dramatically reduce impulsive behavior because it interrupts automaticity. That pause gives your conscious brain enough time to step in. This is one of the easiest ways to rewire your brain without depending on willpower. Step 3. Replace the habit instead of just removing it. One reason people fail to break bad habits is because they try to create emptiness. But the brain dislikes behavioral gaps. Habits usually exist because they provide something: stimulation, comfort, escape, relief, reward. If you only remove the habit without replacing the reward, the brain keeps searching for the old behavior. This is why relapse happens. The neuroscience of habit change shows that replacing a routine works better than eliminating it completely. For example, if stress causes phone addiction, replace it with walking or deep breathing. If boredom causes overeating, replace it with movement or conversation. If procrastination gives relief from overwhelm, replace it with smaller, manageable tasks. The replacement habit does not need to be perfect. It just needs to provide some form of reward. Because the brain learns through repetition and reward. Over time, the new neural pathway becomes stronger while the old one weakens. This is how brain rewiring actually happens. Not through force, through repeated replacement. And this process takes time. People quit too early because they expect instant change. But remember, you spent months or years strengthening the old neural pathway. Consistency matters more than intensity. Small, repeated actions reshape the brain far more effectively than short bursts of motivation. Step 4. Stop relying on motivation and use identity instead. This is where many people struggle. They wait to feel motivated before changing. But motivation is emotional. Habits are neurological. If your behavior depends only on motivation, your habits collapse the moment emotions change. Instead, successful habit change happens when identity changes. The brain responds strongly to repeated self-perception. If you constantly tell yourself, "I have no discipline, I always fail, I am lazy," your brain starts treating that identity as familiar truth. And familiar patterns are easier for the brain to repeat. But when identity shifts, behavior gradually follows. Instead of saying, "I am trying to quit procrastination," say, "I am becoming someone who acts immediately." Instead of, "I am trying to stop unhealthy habits," say, "I take care of my brain and body." This may sound small, but neuroscience shows that repeated thoughts influence neural pathways too. Your internal language matters. The goal is not fake positivity. The goal is reinforcing a new behavioral identity consistently enough that the brain starts accepting it as normal. People with strong self-discipline are not constantly fighting themselves every minute. Many of them simply repeated disciplined actions long enough that those behaviors became automatic. The same neuroplasticity that created bad habits can also create better ones. Step 5. Reward progress immediately. One reason bad habits are powerful is because the rewards are immediate. Scrolling feels good instantly. Junk food feels good instantly. Avoidance feels good instantly. But good habits often have delayed rewards. Exercise takes time, reading takes time, learning takes time. Consistency takes time. The brain naturally prioritizes immediate rewards over distant rewards. So if you want to rewire your brain effectively, you must make positive behaviors feel rewarding immediately. Track progress visually. Celebrate consistency, use habit streaks, acknowledge small wins. Notice emotional improvements. Your brain needs evidence that the new behavior is beneficial. A lot of people only focus on results, but the brain changes before visible results appear. If you wait for massive transformation before appreciating progress, you usually quit too early. Instead, reward the process itself. For example, if you studied for 20 focused minutes, that is success. If you avoided opening distracting apps for 1 hour, that matters. If you interrupted an old habit loop even once, your brain is learning something new. Neuroplasticity works through repetition. Every interruption weakens the old pathway. Every repetition strengthens the new one. This is why consistency beats perfection every single time. Why breaking bad habits feels emotionally difficult. There is another important reason habits are hard to change. The brain values familiarity more than improvement. Even unhealthy patterns can feel psychologically safe because they are known. This is why people often return to behaviors they hate. The brain associates familiar routines with certainty. Change requires uncertainty, and uncertainty creates discomfort. That discomfort does not mean you are failing. It usually means your brain is adapting. Many people quit during this phase because they think the discomfort means the new system is not working. Actually, it often means the rewiring process has started. This is why patience matters. You are not just changing actions. You are changing neural patterns that may have existed for years. And that takes repetition, awareness, and consistency. The real goal is not perfection. A lot of people approach self-improvement incorrectly. They think one mistake destroys progress. But neuroscience does not work like that. One bad day does not erase a new neural pathway. What matters is overall repetition over time. The problem begins when one mistake becomes a full return to the old identity. Missing once is normal. Repeating the cycle for weeks is the danger. People who successfully change their habits usually recover quickly after mistakes. They do not spend weeks drowning in guilt, because guilt itself often becomes another trigger for destructive behavior. The goal is not becoming perfect overnight. The goal is reducing automatic destructive behavior gradually while increasing conscious behavior consistently. That is how real brain rewiring happens. Breaking bad habits is not about becoming a completely different person overnight. It is about understanding how your brain works and using that knowledge to your advantage. The neuroscience of habits shows that your brain is constantly adapting based on repetition, reward, and environment, which means no habit is truly permanent if you are willing to consistently change the pattern behind it. The habits controlling your life today were learned, which also means they can be unlearned. And usually the biggest changes start with very small, repeated decisions. If this video helped you understand the neuroscience of breaking bad habits and gave you practical steps you can actually apply in real life, leave a like so more people can find this video too. And subscribe to Simple Ways of Life for more videos on self-discipline, psychology, mental clarity, brain rewiring, productivity, and simple self-improvement ideas that genuinely help in everyday life.